These reforms, these tax cuts, they need to be permanent. I am here to tell you, we are going to get this done in 2017.
All right, this, as White House economic advisor Gary Cohn says, he is looking for a tax reform bill in the first half of September. Jay Timmons, president and CEO of the National Association of Manufacturers, moderated the Q&A portion of today's summit. He joins us now. Jay, great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
You know, I'm just that kind of tax geek. I listen to every word of the speech and then every word of your Q&A. And what occurs to me is it's all well and fine for Paul Ryan to say he wants tax reform and he wants it now. But do you believe Congress can deliver?
I do. And I have to tell you, Paul Ryan was really talking about the importance of restoring confidence in America and in the business community. And Americans, especially those Americans in those states that traditionally went blue but went red this last time, are looking for real results, and they're looking for members of Congress to deliver on their promises to reduce the cost of doing business, especially for manufacturers, and tax reform is exactly the way to make that happen.
Well, you know, it was interesting when you say manufacturers, and that's your organization. Ryan mentioned the fact that 1 million more Americans are working in manufacturing than at the beginning of the decade, which is a number that I hadn't heard before and really speaks to the power of manufacturing. How important is some kind of tax reform, specifically the GOP tax reform, to your members?
Well, tax reform, comprehensive tax reform that lowers the tax rate, that recognizes that we have a global economy, and that enables investment or incentivizes investment and job creation is absolutely critical. Because ultimately, if manufacturers are, if manufacturers have to make decisions about where to do business in the world, they have to make the decision to go to lower cost jurisdictions. We can compete on labor costs. That's a tired old argument. What we can't compete on are the things we do to ourselves. The cost of taxes, the cost of the regulatory burden, the cost of infrastructure. Those are the three things that we really want to see accomplished in this Congress.
Big hurdles, of course, for business in this, the tax situation that we have right now, obviously. Quickly, though, I just want you to respond to this, because there are critics out there on the left who say that this tax plan is really just to benefit the wealthy. It's just really to help people who already are doing well. Your response?
Look, tax reform, especially business tax reform, is designed to help those people who most need it. It's designed to create jobs. It's designed to lift the quality of life for all Americans, especially those who feel like they were left behind and that responded so overwhelmingly in this last election. I'm excited about the prospects. I'm really confident, as the Speaker said today, that we can get this done, and I'm looking forward to seeing the great things that can happen as a result.
All right, Jay, stay right there. I want to bring in our panel for more on this topic. Here with us now, Tammy Bruce and Eric Schiffer. Tammy, I'm going to start with you. Sure. So Ryan today is saying, hey, we can't let this once-in-a-generation moment pass us by. We have to go in. We have to go in for tax reform. Do it now. Do you believe that they can meet this timeline, that they can meet the deadline that Cohn is setting up for them?
Well, they could if they really wanted to. Look, Paul Ryan put out the Better Way plan almost a year ago. And the Democrats have a really good argument here. They've had no hearings on their Better Way. So there's a lot of the Ziegfeld follies in Paul Ryan, I think. A lot of show, a lot of really warm talk, a lot of speechifying. And yet, let's compare him as an example. He's sounding, by the way, at this speech a lot like Donald Trump, right? About wanting long-term change. But the fact is that Donald Trump actually gets results. We've yet to see that with Paul Ryan. So Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, is saying, no, they're having really good talks. They're meeting every week. They're moving forward. But we've got to see them doing something differently that Paul Ryan has not done for the generation that he's been in office. So it's funny how now he's saying we've got the first time in a generation to be able to make a difference. But he's had that kind of time before. Now what the challenge is for him is to do more than talk or to pander, is actually do the hard work.
Eric, to you, I mean, more than talk and pander, here's what he says, the scoring on that plan, what it would mean for the economy. And these numbers, they just sound great. 1.7 million more jobs, 8% hike in wages, and 9% growth in the economy. What do you make of that? Is that just happy talk? Is that real? Eric.
I think it's largely real, Jerry. I think that there's tremendous opportunity for businesses that we can't even imagine. I think, look, the stock market is somewhat baking the potential of the tax reform into what we've seen, which has been tremendous. As a business owner, I own many companies. Having the certainty of knowing that corporate tax is going to be lower, it motivates you. You want to invest it back in employees. You want to invest it back in growth. And there's no question that that would happen across the board. So I do think that overall, the specifics of what he's saying, it's debatable. But the large-scale underlying argument is absolutely true.
Jay, you're talking to these owners of manufacturing companies all the time, and Paul Ryan said that so many of these companies are actually small businesses.
That's right.
And 8 in 10 of these businesses file as individuals. It seems to me that that idea of lowering corporate tax rates, lowering individual tax rates, could ultimately mean lots more hiring in the economy. Small business, the engine of economic growth. Give me some facts and figures on where this is going to take us if it were to become law.
No, absolutely. That's exactly right. About 2/3 of manufacturers file as S-corps or as individual taxpayers. I think he had a higher number. But regardless, it's a tremendous number of small businesses in this country that will benefit from tax reduction or tax reform. And what's being discussed right now is kind of a third way from the way we've done things in the past in creating a business tax. So something that would be applied almost the same between corporations and individual ratepayers who are paying or who are making business income. I think that's exactly the right way to go. And as far as results, look, you've got trillions of dollars that's stuck overseas right now. You've got trillions of dollars that are being taken up by Uncle Sam in a way that's not very productive for the economy. Returning that money to businesses to create jobs and invest is exactly the right thing to do.